Disclaimer: the information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
It's time for change to move into the real work of the universe. And it's time to understand that we use the matter state to reach the level of understanding of the soul of the man. Now you understand maybe why the Creator has sent his messengers in the name of whatever you have had. Is that they bring the ears, that it can be used when the time of the Messiah comes. They can teach the soul and the message, not to oppose, but by them understanding through those who have become messiahs, to give from their souls to these to elevate, the job is made easy. The school is there and the students are devotedly there. Then there won't be any fight between what they call the Muslims and the Christians. The lamb and the lion will eat and sleep in the same nest. The Christians and the Muslims will sleep and pray in the mosque, then in the same church, in the name of their souls, not in the name of religion. That is used to create so much conflict for the benefit of those who were the hyperactive children. The time has come, the time of change is here. And as I said, my wish is my command. If it's your wish to see peace, the path of peace is laid very clearly. It's the soul of the collective awareness. By giving will create that position of change. No other thing. There is no pen in the soul of the man. And I'm sure once you go into the universal community, you will never see anything written but the balance of the fields of the soul of the existence. Try to be humble enough not to become arrogant in the power that you have understood and you possess. Otherwise, you'll fall in the same path of the church and the mosque. This is what we promised. And this is what we have delivered. We have to understand the operation of the soul. And we have to understand the soul of the man is a star in the cosmos of the universe. If we compare the soul of the man and many of us, 7 billion in one collection, Earth is like a galaxy with so many stars. When we look in the depth of the universe, we see galaxies with hundreds of millions of stars in it. So is the planet Earth. It carries 7 billion beautiful stars, which are the soul of the man. Carries with it soul of so many trillions of animals, plants, and everything else. So if you look, when someone who does not see the physicality of the earth and its content, what do they see? They see a galaxy with so many beautiful lights shining, each one according to their strength, each one according to their position. An infant has a beautiful soul, so has the old man. To those who do not see the physical dimension of this planet, but they see the strength of the field, we are clusters of stars. The human race, every single soul, no one from a distance sees that's the soul of a fisherman, that's the soul of the cosmologist, that's the soul of the president. They all shine irrespective of the physicality. This is the magic. This is what the new science has to bring to man. When we look to our soul, we see nothing but a star in the other souls. And this is the break. This is the understanding. This is what all these teachings are about. Coming to mature to the next level, to understand in the deep space, the universe is the oyster for those souls who serve. Then man is ready to go into space. Then man is ready to become part of the universal community which has been promised. I never promised you heaven. I always promised you the elevation of the man to join the family. And now you have the key. It's you who has to open the door to understand, if I can raise the soul of these people or millions of other souls, that the physical life on this planet changes, then I'm worthy to be part of the universal community. To be there to serve, to expand. To be there, to be part, that in the cycle of life of universe, I become, in being part, I become part of the totality. When man reaches that point, a new dimension in the strength of the soul of the man will appear, which is beyond imagination of understanding of the physical life. It's the gate to the opening of the new life, in a new dimension, which is beyond imagination of what you might call a new beginning, a new cycle. Which that cycle carries with itself the origin of the creation of life in the universe and the universe. It's the elevation of the soul to serve become the key, not a throne of the physical life. The time is right. The time has come for the man to go through this process.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 352nd One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace here on Tuesday, November 12th, 2024. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the public teachings in English. My name's Rick Crammond, and I'll be host once again in this wonderful weekly series of workshops. And once again, have the honor of being joined with members and support members of the Universal Council, who will be presenting today's workshop. So let's get that presentation up here and begin our workshop.
Thank you, my dear Rick. Thank you so much, so much. And salam namaste, salute, Sashwat pranam, beautiful soul. And I will say that, well, some few words as I will welcome you. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Swagatam in the beauty and totality of Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, in the beauty of Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, in the beautiful energy of Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, and of course, the beautiful, beautiful energy, universal as we are, all in it. All beautiful souls, my dear. So I will say salam namaste for being here always. And I will say that here is the time, to become timeless. Like as we say, that here I am, ready to become my true self, timeless, kind of that. Because this is the time we have to understand the true, actually, the true you are, absolute truth, the complete consciousness, pure consciousness you are. So in this knowledge, in this understanding, in this balance, in this love and connection, we have to understand that what we are, not those who have told us what we are. We are from within. So towards from darkness towards the light, from darkness towards the light, and from lies of this matrix towards the truth. So here in India we say, uh, tamasoma jyotirgamaya asatoma sadgamaya. So there is this is a Sanskrit shloka, and we practice when we were these shlokas we practice when we were a little, little ones, kind of that. So thank you, as light beings you are, as beautiful beings you are, and your ability to understand the universal love, give this love to all that are in need. Thank you. Thank you for being here always, my beautiful soul. Sashwat Pranam, Salam Alaikum, Namaskar, Salute. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sweta. This is Dean here representing the English language as a support member of the Universal Council. And as many of you may be aware, I've been given this Emotions and Soul. And there's a couple of slides today to be played. And this will sort of conclude this part of the emotions and the soul. And so I'm going to go straight into it. So here we go. So this is a question that was asked to Mr. Keshe, and Mr. Keshe answered it this way. So this planet, so it's about emotions and soul, and we see how to see suffering. How do we suffer on this planet? And Mr. Keshe replied, this planet, because this planet is nothing but suffering. So when we're in the physical form, we tend to go through this position where we manifest all around us and we become physical. And so the body has to go through this state of matter state that causes emotional, conditions and physical conditions that are linked to the human body. And these emotions mostly cause many parts of the suffering that we experience on planet Earth. So here is the trick. Whenever you notice yourself suffering, your brain is the first part detecting your state out of alignment with the soul. What does that mean? So you're using your brain in the first instance, and this is the suffering part. So we have the brain is a matter state, is a physical condition, and when we use that part of us, they're going back and forward, the tick-tock of everything that we are thinking, we are creating emotions, and those emotions trigger responses and conditions within our physical form, which causes the interaction of the suffering. And so the more that you're thinking, the more conditions you are bringing forward and the more suffering you will experience. Not always, but in most instances, this can happen. So don't ignore the suffering or the lack, but don't give it attention the way you gave it in the past. So understand what's being spoken about there. So that was the past pretense. That was the past moment when you didn't understand, or you did understand, that the brain was causing you this dysfunction, this suffering. So going forward and in this moment, just imagine a center pole that represents your true alignment, your true center of being. Now you can say this true center of being could be your soul of physicality, or you could use this center pole as a direct connection to the soul of man, which has a direct connection to the universal flow and the creator and the creation of everything within you and everything around you. Imagine you have an elastic band, the symbol for your strength. So imagine this elastic band that is your strength around the center pole of your being. And also that there is a smaller pole which represents your positioned self. So imagine two poles and an elastic band between them, and you have a positioned self. So what you call yourself, man, woman, I don't know, whatever you describe yourself as, woman, child, doctor, physician, I don't know, street worker, whatever it is you call yourself, position that you've attained as self. The smaller pole is connected to the larger one by an elastic band, as we've said. So the further you pull yourself away from the center, from the truth of your being or your spiritual center of gravity, the more tension will be on the elastic band. So the more that you're thinking, the more that you are connecting with your self and what you position yourself as, you're pulling that elastic band very tight. And this is causing some of the suffering. So that tension is what you feel as the tugging on your being, on your body, when you are positioning your point of view out of alignment with the truth of your being. That is literally what suffering is. So we are, in our physical lives, we are, if you take the analogy that's being said here, we have two center poles, a larger pole and a smaller pole. The smaller pole representing the self, what you presume that you are. And the further that you pull away from the center, with this smaller self, the more that we become out of line with the soul, further away from the creation point and the creator. And so the body is resisting, the emotions are resisting, and we're pulling this elastic band, as we said, very tight. But like any elastic band, you know that when it snaps back, when it comes back into position, it goes slack, doesn't it? It goes limp, and the resistance gone. But there's always a big slap as the elastic band snaps back into position. So we are causing this suffering by being out of line with the soul. And we know through the ethos of the foundation and all these teachings what that condition is of being present in the moment and sharing and giving to others. The further you move away, the more tension and the more stress you experience on your system. Because it is actually calling you back, tugging and pulling you back. So the more we resist, the more we pull away, the bigger the pullback, the bigger that reaction of the elastic band pulling you. It gets to a tipping point, and then very quickly you're going to come back. And I think many of us have experienced this with our physical bodies, with the emotions that have caused the diseases and things within our structure. And we get to a physical point where we demise, the physical body demises to a point where we give up. And then the elastic band snaps back. And then we start to experience alignment back with the soul. And then the physical suffering can be eased again because you're back in alignment. So back into your center of gravity. It wants to guide you back into your center of gravity, which is linked to planet Earth, which is linked to your structure with the amino acids and the carbons, the oxygen, hydrogens, and nitrogens that we're all connected to. Rick, can we go to the next slide, please? So emotions and soul, this is the conclusion of it, and freedom from abusing ourselves. So we always look to the outside. We always say everything is abusing us. It's the government, it's the whoever. You know, we always look to the outside. But if we just go back to what we were just speaking about, that emotional pull of the elastic band is actually ourselves. We do this to ourselves when we're out of alignment with the soul. So Mr. Keshe, in conclusion, from freedom from abusing ourselves, would say, what is it with this planet? They say we like it. They accept suffering, not being in control. So it becomes habitual to pay, to abuse, and we are the abuser of ourselves. So in those few words there, we can imagine or we can interact, and I'm sure many of us can realize the acceptance of the suffering by being out of alignment with the soul that we create through all sorts of activities and beliefs that we have. Now, whether those beliefs are of a spiritual nature or a given nature by somebody to you, and you lived that experience for so long that you believe it. But is that in alignment with yourself? Is that the part of you that is the connection to the whole of creation? Is that the truth? Do you feel it? Do you know it? And when another speaks something to you and it the field strength of it, the interaction of the words or the actions, create a condition where the elastic band in you pulls away. And because of the suffering that we incur through being present with the field strength of the emotion, of the attachment, of the condition that is given to us by somebody speaking some words or giving us a belief, we are so out of line with our soul that we are causing these suffering within the physicality. So if you can go into the depth of the soul of the man, you will find that the life can be much easier without all this pain. And I think many of us would love to be free of pain of any description that we have, whether it's emotional or physical. And if we realize that we are causing this, we are the abuser of ourselves, we are creating this. And you know, when someone has something that's been niggling them for a long time, whether it's an emotional or a physical thing, it's always in the background. And it causes them to sometimes to be many different conditions of being um, snapping at people or being unkind to another person, because that pain is always there, and so you bite out, you lash out at another being, and that can be in micro and macro. So if that started at a very early age, and I was a little boy or little girl or something, and I had this something happen to me, and then I hold on to that. I hold on to that emotion for a very long time. Then I'm going to find that the alignment of the soul later on in life, at some point, is going to want to come back, pull you back into alignment. And this, as I said, can be from a very early age, and we can take this all the way through our lives without realizing what we do. So this knowledge is bringing us back into a beautiful position of understanding. And humanity, what we've caused around ourselves in micro and macro and further out, as we feel the pains, the suffering that we are creating from within. And then the feel strength of it is resonating throughout. It doesn't just stop at our physical body. We can speak words, we can give feelings, we can give a feel strength that others will receive, that absorption of a feel strength. Like magnets, you don't see the interaction, but when you have one magnet, you move the other magnet, the other one moves. So that feel strength interaction is the emotion of the soul. And so when you're out of line, you are causing that friction for others to experience. And then that goes back into the physical form, causing all the diseases and other conditions we have in our body. And whether we stay very humble in life or we become a president, we carry that, and we're responsible for that. We're responsible for the others, and we're responsible for ourselves and how we interact with all the other souls that are present, and realizing that we have the ability to end this suffering when we become in a line with our soul. So the last thing Mr. Keshe will be saying is, it is not going to be easy, but the beauty of it is that nothing is easy unless man goes to his own soul, that he finds no dimension in the realm, of creation. We don't preach. We inspire. We inspire. And it is for you to find your own soul. Thank you very much. And that was Mr. Keshe's beautiful teachings on the emotions and soul and the conclusion of freedom from abusing ourselves. So when we understand the beauty that we possess, then we can step away from the abuse that we create. And then when we create something and we feed it, we let it grow and it becomes something more. So from this moment forward, if we teach ourselves and then teach the others, the children, the other adults, the other beings, and feel this and understand this teaching, then we can move forward from this point and everything starts to come back into balance. That elastic band comes back into a limp position, a slack position, and we become aligned with our soul. And that soul is aligned with the creation point, where we are positioned, and we can bring that back into balance. And so we have this eternal peace within inside ourselves. And the emotions and soul essence start to shine through once more. So thank you very much, all of you, for listening. And I think we can now finish on that. And thank you for being present. Thank you, Rick. I think we can go to the next slide. Thank you.
Thank you. With the UC, we give freely from our souls to elevate the soul of the all beings who lost their physicality in any disaster situation. Please elevate. Your wishes or comment.
We are present.
We, the Universal Council, give from our souls freely to elevate the souls of the leaders of to come to the path of peace. We are present.
We are present.
You can read, Sweta. Thank you.
We, the Universal Council, give from our soul to create conditions for all support to keep the Keshe Foundation independent research. We are present.
Mehran.
Yes, hello everybody. You're welcome. I hope my voice let me easily continue. So this is about I'm Mehran, the UC Farsi language, Universal Council support of Farsi language. So it's about these phrases coming from Mr. Keshe. In fact, if I don't make a mistake, one day in one of the teachings, maybe 2020, before 2019, we had a friend who asked Mr. Keshe, I think it was in private teachings at the time, what we do when sometimes we get depressed. And he answered, you say to yourself this, I love you, my soul. I love to live with you. I adore you. And for me, that is my material part, which says to my energy side, the temporary side to the eternal side of me, the earthly side to the universal part of me. Our soul, since the start, has organized and developed the whole thing around itself, and they live together, and they have a pact together that one is provider for the other, and the other is a guide for the other. When the pact is finished, one is not capable of serving the soul. The soul goes and the body stays and will be gone. So we should never forget this energy part of us. Just because it's not seen or touched or heard, it's all in feelings and sensations. We can find it where we are lonely, in the middle of the night, everybody's sleeping, we wake up, we meditate, and we get into our soul, into ourselves. And I can talk and talk, but I think it's enough. I'm supposed to do soul connection. Yes, I had something else also about this. When we started the transmutation and we were supposed to let go of our souls, I said, how am I going to find you? What's my soul? Where is it? So I remember this phrase, which I say, I love you, my soul. So I try to say myself, I love you, my soul. And for me, the one I'm talking to was my soul. And I think it worked because I had the results I needed at the time. So that's another use of this phrase for finding our souls when we are looking for. And with the soul connection, we know that whenever there are energies, there are people with the same mind, with the same heart, with the same soul get together and put their hearts together, that's a kind of synergy created, which is not 1 + 1, 2 + 1, 3. It is 1 + 1, 3, 4, 1 + 1, 8, 9, 1 + 1, 16, 17, and that's kind of like that. So now we are going to do that. We know that we directly or indirectly love to have peace in the world, or people for children, for grandchildren. They are tired of bloodshed. They are tired of seeing injustice. And so somebody said, peace we are waiting for is near. But how come it's not coming? But how come it's taking time? So I find this piece of um, interesting thing this today, that history of Job the prophet, and he lost his son, his beloved youngest son, unjustly. He was the subject of jealousy of the bigger brothers, and they put him in a well. And then the merchants find him in the well, took him to another country very far in Egypt. They wanted to sell him. And the wife of the palace was passing and bought this boy who looked so shiny and so bright and so pure. And then took years that he was unjustly imprisoned, 14 years. And then he becomes a young man, and at the end he finishes to be the minister of the Egypt. So the story says to Jacob, we can imagine, that God was not forgetting you all these years. It was just Joseph, your son, who had to be prepared to be a king. That's why sometimes peace is taking time. Maybe because we have a way to pass and complete ourselves and clean up our lives, clean up our things which are not perfect, that create us the challenges, because we are still product of our education, not just religion or society, but also our family education. And parents have their own challenges. So we have to clean up all that, and it takes time. So at the time which the peace is taking its time to come, we can take care of ourselves to every day to get ourselves better, if we are lucky enough to do it. So it's not a waste. Why peace is coming late? It comes because other things have to be ready. And that's when the whole thing would be much more brighter, beautiful, and it's like an anniversary. So going back to our soul connection, we connect our souls, now that we know where it is, together everywhere in visualization. And when we visualize, there's not 100 ways to go. It finds itself. If you have intention, it finds itself. And we connect all these souls with others towards peace. Peace everywhere. Everybody eats when they are hungry. There is justice. There's technology. People are not cold. Everything is just fine. And nobody bothers anybody. And people can flourish and prosper because there's place for everybody. And then we can go to another places, another planets, that there is nobody, but we can colonize those empty planets. So there's a lot of opportunities for us. But as Mr. Keshe said, we have to have peace first. We have to not be a threat to other beings in other planets. So we can go and colonize and go vacation there, come back. So we all connect for peace, like it's already there. And we stay there in few moments. Thank you.
Mariners, I believe this is your part as well.
So this is soul connection that we are doing the soul connection actually.
Yes.
Now that we have energy, we have energy of all this beautiful prospect, which gives us, makes us fresh. We can give from our souls to the political and economical and media leaders. We give them what they need, that they are satisfied in their souls. They need a lot of help from us. So we help them to raise their souls, to see what they are doing and decide what to do next. Thank you.
Thank you so much, beautiful souls, for this soul connection. As sometimes we don't need even any word to be in this connection. We are always connected. We are always present as we are now. There's no need of any word. We are here in this soul connection. Thank you. Thank you for being here, beautiful souls, always. in this soul connection, my dear. Always be connected. Um, thank you. Salam, namaste, salute. Now we can go to the next presentation, my dear.
Thank you, Shweta. Thank you, Myrna. The Universal Council invites the Keshe family and the Universal family in unifying at the soul level every time and every day at 9 p.m. CEST or CET to elevate the soul of the leaders involved to achieve the permanent and lasting peace in the Middle East as part of the soul of peace and totality. So every day we're replicating, we're copying, we're reproducing the process that we just went through. And of course, it's not limited to once a day, but the 9 p.m. hour was set where collectively we join on this non-tangible energy dimension, again, to continue this process. And it's up to you to join. And as we heard in the opening video, for those who have become messiahs, who have learned to give from their souls, which leads to elevate, the path is made easy. Again, this is working in our true non-physical dimension. Yes, we have a physicality dimension and we have an energy dimension. We're very good in the physical, but now we're learning more about this energy dimension where we can touch other souls in a way and give from our souls. And so this is the process we're asking you to take part in, because it is the collective awareness of all of us. By giving, will create this position of change. And of course, we're starting to see the first buds, maybe the first flowers or the first fruits of peace starting to emerge on this tree we've been fertilizing and watering, in a way, this dome of peace. As we see the president-elect in the United States talking peace in a way, talking about traveling to Iran. Mr. Keshe is working in the background. I think he's laid this path out for the two nations to come together, exchange ideas and technology. So we're quite happy to see, but again, this is just the first process, and this process has to continue as more and more leaders will become part of this whole structure of the one planet, one nation, one race for world peace. And again, we're not feeding in the matter state dimension these souls. We're feeding them in the energy dimension. It's not food and water. It's more like the elevation through your soul, giving your emotions and sharing your emotions with these others who, as we heard, need quite a lot of elevation. So this is the time every day where you can feel, in a way, proud of yourself that you're actually changing the dimensions on this planet into a peaceful planet. But the work, it's not a day job. This is it's been going on for a while, and it'll probably continue to go on for a while. So we're just asking you to join us, explore your true non-physical dimension, this energy dimension, or the other half of you that we're not quite aware of, even though we've been using it. Now we can actually direct it for creating peaceful conditions. And it's beautiful to see that things appear to be starting to come together in a way. So perhaps we can almost double our efforts at this time. If what we've done is good, I think we can double it. And again, you don't have to spend an hour or 10 minutes or anything like that. As we heard, the transmutation should take place in the blink of an eye. So this elevation process, whether you want to spend a nanosecond or 30 seconds or 1 minute, I think it's more important that you do it more often for a short period of time than once a day for a longer period of time. But that's just my thinking. As we continue to pulse or create that heartbeat of peace, that the souls pick it up, the soul of the world leaders, the soul of the religious leaders, and then that will extend. So this is the beauty that we're creating. Again, we're not going out physically. We're not trying to meet with the leaders, which would be difficult to do. We're not protesting, but we're working on that energy dimension, which again is foreign to many of us, but we're using it all the time. So please join us. And as I said, you can be proud of the work you do. You can be proud of the person you are, and you can be proud of the difference you're making in bringing this planet into a permanent, peaceful condition. But it's all up to you. It's not a formal meeting. It's just joining again on this energy level at a certain time. And this whole mixture of fields is much more powerful. That's why we're doing it collectively, because we have such a variety of fields mixed in together that one of those fields or multiple of those fields will continue to touch and again elevate these leaders, religious leaders, political leaders, and the rest. So please join us in creating the peace. And I think you can be quite proud of yourself for operating in that dimension and exploring that dimension, which again, we've told was a dream, it was a coincidence, it's just your imagination. But now we know we can forcefully, in a way, peacefully and forcefully work in that dimension. So join us on a daily basis and then extend it to multiple times a day, multiple times a week, and so on and so forth, and explore your true non-physical nature. Thank you.
Next, we have the questions and answers with the Universal Council with Marie and Claudia. And let me get that set up here. And this is a new installment this month from the 2nd of November. And we'll be looking at question number 1 and question number 2. Okay, let's begin.
And the first question, I would like to know about all the soul elevations at 21 hours, 2 a.m. CEST. I see several faces at the bottom of the screen, as if there were several people from other fields together with us. Is it possible or is it imagination?
Então, a primeira pergunta é: eu gostaria de saber sobre todas as elevações da alma às 21 horas. Vejo vários rostos na parte inferior da tela, como se houvessem várias pessoas de outros campos juntas a nós. É possível ou é imaginação?
And the first answer, the elevation of the souls occurs at an energetic level and not at a physical level. Each being decides if it manifests itself, in what form and where, and what you believe you create.
Então, a primeira resposta é: a elevação das almas ocorre em um nível energético e não em um nível físico. Cada ser decide se ele se manifesta e em que forma e onde. E o que você acredita, você cria.
And there's another answer. Only you know what you see.
Outra resposta é: somente você sabe o que vê.
And there is another answer. I'm pretty sure there are entities or people from other places and dimensions in the soul elevations. The energies emerging from these sessions are soul energy to benefit anyone in need in the creation. I guess many souls want to join to add to the fields to reach many more in need.
Então, outra resposta é: tenho certeza de que existem entidades ou pessoas de outros lugares e dimensões nas elevações de alma. As energias que emergem dessas sessões são energias de alma para beneficiar qualquer um que precise na criação. Acredito que muitas almas querem se juntar para adicionar aos campos e alcançar muito mais do que precisam.
And there is another answer. We as human have a certain perspective, the human perspective. Now that we divide into the soul dimension, we have to become aware of the soul perspective. When we connect on a soul level every day at 21 CEST and at any other time, place and position, our souls feels the oneness again. Understand that the goal is to be in this soul dimension, not only for 5, 10, or 20 minutes. The connection is there for us to understand our own state of being as a soul. As soon as we understand this, we can start with the real work of the universe. In the connection lies the opportunity to serve, to love, to give freely from your soul. Latest from this point on, you don't need the words anymore. Wishes becomes obsolete because the state of being in the soul dimension communicates through your own emotions, your own behavior, your own conduct. Do you now recognize the reason why we should think, speak, and do good? In the soul connection lies the key of changing not only our planet, this goes far beyond, even beyond the creation we live in.
Então, outra resposta é: nós, como humanos, temos uma certa perspectiva, a perspectiva humana. Agora que mergulhamos na dimensão da alma, precisamos nos tornar conscientes da perspectiva da alma. Quando nos conectamos em nível de alma todos os dias às 21 horas do Brasil, e a qualquer outro tempo, lugar e posição, nossas almas sentem a necessidade, sentem a unidade novamente. Compreenda que o objetivo é estar nessa dimensão da alma, não apenas por 5, 10 ou 20 minutos. Essa conexão existe para entendermos nosso próprio estado de ser como alma. Assim que entendermos isso, podemos começar com o verdadeiro trabalho do universo. Na conexão reside a oportunidade de servir, amar, dar livremente de sua alma. A partir desse ponto, você não precisa mais de palavras. Desejos se tornam obsoletos, porque o estado de ser na dimensão da alma se comunica através da sua própria emoção, seu próprio comportamento, sua própria conduta. Você agora reconhece a razão pela qual devemos pensar, falar e fazer o bem? Na conexão da alma está a chave para mudar, não apenas nosso planeta. Isso vai muito além, até mesmo além da criação em que vivemos.
So then we are on the second question. Does the state of happiness come from the soul of the man or from the soul of physicality?
A segunda pergunta é: o estado de felicidade vem da alma do homem ou da alma da fisicalidade?
And the first answer, the various emotions are the link, the connection between the two souls. But permanent happiness is generated in the balance, in the union of the two as one.
Então a primeira resposta é: as várias emoções são a ligação, a conexão entre as duas almas, mas a felicidade permanente é gerada no equilíbrio, na união das duas, como uma.
And there is another answer. From my understanding, happiness is an emotion that comes from the soul's interaction and is expressed in physicality.
Então, pelo que eu entendo, a felicidade é uma emoção que vem da interação das almas e expressa a felicidade na fisicalidade.
And there is another answer. When your soul of the man and your soul of physicality have found its balance, the light from your soul of the man is emitted or radiated without any interference to anyone in the environment you are. Your light is the same inside and outside. You are in truth, in balance, in love, your authentic self. If your light or radiating fields finds balance with the fields of the environments you're in, the interaction of the fields will appear without disturbances. Your emotions and feelings will flow and interact and will appear of the highest order, in bliss, unconditional love, fulfillment, and happiness. To reach this balance of internal and external balance, we implement the ethos of Mitra and the 24 commandments. Do that and you will see your life transform from wherever it is now to a state of happiness. This is the key.
Então, outra resposta é: quando sua alma do homem e sua alma da fisicalidade encontram seu equilíbrio, a luz da alma da sua alma do homem é emitida ou irradiada sem qualquer interferência a qualquer um no ambiente em que você está. Sua luz é a mesma por dentro e por fora. Você está na verdade, no equilíbrio, no amor, seu ser autêntico. Se sua luz ou campos radiantes encontram equilíbrio com os campos do ambiente em que você está, a interação dos campos aparecerá sem perturbações. Suas emoções e seus sentimentos fluirão, interagirão e aparecerão da mais alta ordem, em bem-aventurança, amor incondicional, realização e felicidade. Para alcançar esse equilíbrio interno e externo, implementaremos o ethos de Mitra e os 24 mandamentos. Faça isso e você verá sua vida se transformar de onde quer que você esteja, agora para um estado de felicidade. Esta é a chave.
And there is another answer. It comes from both. If your soul and the soul of physicality are in line, that's what we call heaven. What do you think? If we go back to this heavenly state of being, would our souls be happy? I'm very sure it will.
Então, felicidade vem de ambos. Se sua alma e a alma da fisicalidade estão alinhadas, isto é o que chamamos de paraíso. O que você acha? Se voltarmos a esse estado celestial de ser, nossas almas seriam felizes? Tenho certeza que sim.
So then we are on the third question. How do
Okay, that's our questions and answers with the Universal Council with Marie and Claudia for today. We'll get into the third question next week. Okay, back to our presentation. And again, the classes with Marie and Claudia are the first Saturday of the month at 9 p.m. Central European Time. And that's with the Brazilian community. And people can access that through the Keshe Knowledge Team groups and other avenues. Okay, let's move to the next slide. And next we have the excerpt from the 563rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And just let me get that set up here. And this excerpt is at the 2 hours and 51 minute mark. And we'll be playing about 4 or 5 minutes.
You have a right brain and a left brain creating their own, and you have the soul. And then you have the heart or field where the fields of the body of the man comes to it. And then you understand this at the same time then has an interaction of its own. You understand? You cannot change, no way, the position of the heart of the man with the position of the soul of the man. And in that process, if you understand this interaction of the fields, this dimension of the physicality, how they interact, how the fields are changed, gives the dimension of the physicality of the man. In how you position the soul, how you position the field, this position of the fields of all the energies, plus what comes in from the environment, which comes through the breathing of the man, and in connection of the fixed position of the soul, shows the creation, the position, the behavior of the man. The position of your soul and the position of your heart gives the behavior, your physical shape. This is why we see people similar to each other. The interaction is so precise that creates the feature of the man the same. And that creates certain physicalities. Then is a certain inertia which comes into it, the inertia of the field of the soul, and the soul of physicality, which creates a dimension of the physicality of the man. So, in the future, if you see a creature with a dimension of two lights, two fields you feel, one is the soul of the, this thing has a physical dimension, but I cannot see because my field is strengthened, but it's a matter existing thing. And how, if you feel the feel inside the other one, this is in the time of transmutations in traveling. But there are a lot of things which needs to be understood, position of the fields, position of the emotion, and then you see physicality of the dimension. You cannot find two people looking exactly the same, one in China and one in, let's say, Europe. Physical picture, conformity of the emotion, inertia of the time and place and position does not match into the European side. You might see some familiar features, but not. But you go to, let's say, an Arab country, you see many people looking the same, because inertia of the position dictates that kind of feature, and then you bring in the positional distance of the soul and the soul of physicality, and few other bits together, you get the similar feature. Then physicality manifests itself. And if you understand this, you understand why some of the twins are exactly the same. There's no difference.
Okay, that's our first excerpt from the 563rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And Next, I believe we'll have the knowledge and understanding from the 563rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop with Stefania and Sweta. And I will play a video in the background with the music turned down, but
Thank you.
audible. And please go ahead.
Thank you so much. I have to read a few moments from this expert excerpt, and I will open it. A few moments. Yes. Knowledge Seeker Workshop excerpt from Knowledge Seeker Workshop excerpt from 563 Knowledge Seeker Workshop, Knowledge and Understanding. Today's teaching is how do we make the Creator's carpet? That we can travel the span of the universe. How does it work? And how we can live in the deep space when you have, to our understanding, a carpet or a flying machine. Now we know which travels in the dimension of the gravitational magnetical positioning. It has to find its position in respect to the what we call gravity of the earth. That's how you fly around like an airplane, but we call gravity of the earth like an airplane, but this one is a carpet. Each cell carries a system inside it, and that finds its position. And in a way, through your thoughts, you control every cell of the carpet, which is that carpet, your own body, your own soul, not the physical carpet. But when we look at this, what we call a flying carpet is in respect to the planet, its center of gravity. You position yourself in how this thing is. So, and the last moments of this excerpt, sorry. So if you understand the inner energy of the cell, inner energy of an atom, inner energy of the plasma, which leads to creation of itself, then you don't need the rocket technology or physicality. So I will say that this is the understanding as I do. I understand that this is the knowledge, my dear, indeed. So soulful that we are the weaver of our own carpet. With the threads of light, love, peace, and abundance, my dear beautiful soul. So we call it, in the ancient times, Solomon has this carpet, and he can do anything from it. How? So we are a weaver. We have this ability, all of us, to weave the truth, to weave this matrix, the reality. How we have done this weaving during this matrix when this is created. Now we have to weave our own carpet. Enough of this. Enough is enough. And the game is over. So we have to understand how to weave our own carpet. As a housewife, even I am a housewife, in the society, in India especially, I will say, there is no such value of a housewife. She is a housewife and that's all. Keep cooking and keep caring about the house and do groceries and all. Say, I love you, my children. I love you, my husband, and I love you like that. But then I also became so egoistic, I thought my anger is so great. I thought and there was this, well, I will say, cellular light came flashing again and again and again. I thought, oh, this is a small, very small, tiny light. How can I look at this? But then a moment came, I started to look at it. And I see, oh, come on with me. He's the knowledge, my creator. He wants to come with me. He wants to be with me. And when he came out, he said, weave, my dear, you are a weaver. These are the threads I am giving to you. And now we know the field of light, love, peace, and abundance. The universal unified field, the threads. And we started weaving. And now we can say, almost all of us can say, that we have almost weaved the carpet. I'm just saying that because, you know, we thought, as in Keshe Foundation Bangla Knowledge Seeker Workshop, I suddenly stuck that Moshfik was saying, the creator is very humble. If you see, you can see. And I understood that, oh, that tiny atom that the creator was sitting there. And I never had seen that. He given me all those threads, but I never woven that in the way I should have. So this is the way, as a housewife, my dear beautiful soul. Well, I will say, this is the word in India we say, samarpan, surrender. Yes, totally, totally. To the universal unified field, the thread. And then he given me this thread of light, and I started weaving that. And here I am with you all in this beautiful, beautiful Keshe Foundation family, my dear beautiful souls. What I can say, I sometimes become this emotional. Now, thank you. This is my understanding, beautiful souls. This is my understanding. We are the weaver of this carpet. Weave with this love, full of love, light, peace, and abundance. It will give you all you want, all everybody wants. This is our ability. We are all weavers. Thank you. Thank you so, so much for listening. Salam, namaste, salute.
Thank you, Sweta. Is there any addition with Stefania, or shall we move to the next slide? Okay, let's move to the next slide.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, next the other part to the last workshop.
Yes, I believe we have another excerpt from the workshop. Let me play that. Okay, we'll have another excerpt from the 563rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop. This will start at the about the 31-minute mark. 30 minutes, 43 seconds. Just let me get that teed up here. Okay, I believe that's ready to go. So let's tune in and see. This will be about 11-minute video. Let's begin.
On Earth, we use the magnetic field of the Earth to find ourselves, to position ourselves. If you're at a higher altitude, the air is thinner and the rest of it, because we never understood the inherited inner field strength of the plasma of the life. Earth creates that in the center, and every cell adjusts itself according to that, according to its position. If you think in a very simple system, the center of Earth creates our gravity. And in the field of it, according to the strength of it, we decide where we're going to be. And in the position where we sit, in the position where we are, in the strength we have in accordance to the position of both, decides if you look Chinese, if you like Indian, and the rest. In a way, we cut through the fields of the planetary system. At the same time, we cut through what we call the inertial weight, and then it creates us. But there's a small misunderstanding about this with a man. Because the composite structure of the fields. You look at these lines in a different way and different manner. Now, let's look at it in a true manner. This line, this central position, is rotating. So the field comes out. It's this way. This is how the field of the Earth rotates. It's not a spiky straight. It's in dynamic. You have to understand the same thing happens in reverse. That's gravitational. This is magnetical. Now you understand. You have the creation field strength, and at any point, you decide in a way of how to, where to set to be. Then you have a second parameter in this game, which is the inertia. And that inertia is constant in the position of everything else, in the condition and the position of every element of this process, which makes it another dimension. Then you have another position, which is the inertia of the cell of the man, which sits at this point at different strength, at this point at different strength, while remembering that these fields of the Earth gravitational is continuous. In a way, when the fields are rotating, they create what we call interaction with the inertial matter state plus the dynamic field of the body of the man, which has its own inertia as a gas state, which we never understood. So this leads to creation of new dimension and life as us. But in essence, they're all the fields of the Creator. They all are the fields of the existence and conformation and what we call dimension of life in this position. There is an extension to this. Out here, we have our star. Further out here, we have our galaxy. And further out here, we have what we call the center of the universe. And all these create their own fields. And all this, in a way, if I go back on the extension, you will see, create, interacting with us at all time. And then you can see the game of the creation. At any point, us in field strength of the cell of our body, sitting on this planet at this position, have access to all the fields of the creation. Beyond this, if even you go beyond this point of reference, somewhere, I lost my picture, come back. Somewhere here, we have the fields of the unicos, which interacts with us. As long as it took you to take your step, taking your foot off the ground and put it back down, it takes the same on the field of strength of to be to the center of the universe, another galaxy, another position. This is why you dream instantaneously and you can go across the universe, go somewhere else, because you, in the energy level magnetic field, travel on one of these lines of the creation. Now we see things in the shape of that confirms to us in animal shape, because this is the limitation of the strength of the field which we have allowed the cells of our brain to work with. If we increase the strength of field of the brain in a way to see the universal dimension energy, then we'll see reality of the animal in this position of universe, not in the shape of man, as I spoke last week. Then you understand, man, to be able to become part of universal community, understanding the process of the traveling the span of the universe, has to understand the inherent magnetic fields of the universe within itself. Decide if he travels on the matter state, inertial gravitational point, or universal energy level magnetic field point. And then if you understood this, if you come to understand even part of this, then you come to understand one fundamental position. It's you who decides the strength of your soul. It's you who decides by your conduct, what you eat, what you take, what you give, the strength that this soul will find itself in position of the universe, unicos, or galaxy. This is where your soul will land, in this maze of the work. Then it's you who decides what my soul is going to do and what will be the outcome at that point and position. To be able to do this, we need to teach you about this inherent energy of the carbon and hydrogen, how it works. You went to the shop, you put an apple or a banana to take energy. You go to a fuel station, you put diesel or petrol or gas in your car to run that engine because it's structured that way. How do you fuel your soul? How do you put it across to go in the path of man? You walk on solid matter, on earth. When it comes to liquid, you find another way of traveling it. The same when you are in a car, you can go a certain way, you come to a cliff, you cannot go because that machine is not made to jump over the space air gap, needs a solid ground. You created a car and then add a wing to it and you made it a plane, and then you jump that cliff, you jump across, or you put a leg into it and a bit into it and you swim across the water. Now you have to learn how to jump this barrier in the dimension of the field of physicality of the man and the fields of the universe. You come to the physicality, point of death. You have to jump that cliff till you land. Your soul immediately, because it's of the energy of the universe, takes the flight, but the physicality can't come. It's got to that cliff, it's a car. It cannot go. It's got to the ocean, it cannot go, it can only go on a solid ground. But you have added a wing to it, you get it to fly across. You switch it, the motor, you can swim across with the same car. Man has to learn how to switch at that point of cliff. That cliff is called the point of death. That cliff is called the point of transmutation. And this is what the teaching will go that way from now on. How to navigate the span of the universe. Now that you know you are in a schizophrenic life, the physicality of the man, which connects man to this matter state of the physicality, does not matter on earth, moon, or wherever, and dimension of the energies of the cell of the body of the man, which is originated in the dimension of the hydrogen, the essence of the creation.
Okay, that's our second excerpt from the 563rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop from last November 7th. Okay, we'll go back to our program here.
Thank you. Next slide.
Yeah, just bear with me a second while I find the workshop here. Here we go. Okay, we have transmutation with Mashfek or Shweta.
Yes. This is Mosfek, representing Bengali language. So, transmutation. I'll talk a little bit about actually the picture that Rick showed a moment back, the magic carpet. So I talked about this in a little bit in the plasma reactor group. Here I'll talk same thing, but from a little bit different angle in a way, so that you can see the connection with the transmutation a little bit. So the carpet, it's used in many cultures on the planet, and it's been used for centuries, millennia. And it goes back far, deep into our past. And we all have connections with carpets or design that we can look at when we look at the ground. And these things are familiar objects to most of us, and we like some of them very much, and others not quite. We all feel differently about different designs. So, and there are many legends like flying carpets in many parts of the world. And where does this notion of flying carpet come? Man's desire to fly has been, same as like the flying carpet. It has been there since the very beginning. It's probably it's more than the flying carpet, but but this flying carpet, this particular device, we see intricate patterns on it. Now, and the carpets we like, or the designs we like, and some of these designs resonate very strongly with us. And what is the meaning behind it? The designs, we have microchips these days. And let's look at microchips from a different point of view. It's a piece of, let's say, a flat surface which has intricate patterns on it. For somebody who is not familiar with it, these intricate patterns on microchips, even if we think of it as big as a carpet, is meaningless. It does something. And once we know a little bit more about microchip, we know that it works with some sort of energy. Well, that gives us a clue that, it is doing something. We can, some of us, somebody who is coming from world, let's say, where there is no microchip. What does it do, this microchip? Strange thing called microchip. Yeah, you say it works with energy. It works with energy to create some function. Now, let's take, and then in our case, it's a computer system or a memory system or things of that sort. Now, let's take this idea of a function and this concept of energy and put this back in our thinking of the carpet. Now, how do we introduce energy and function to a carpet? Flying carpet? Yes, obviously it can do something. It can fly. Now, in order to fly or float or what, we can now begin to think about magnetic field being introduced in the fabric of the carpet. So now we have brought in energy into the carpet. Now, does intricate designs create intricate flows in the carpet? We can use a part of the carpet for a certain function. We can use another part of the carpet in a certain other way. Same as microchip. Part serves the memory. Another parts serve as a processing, computational element. So, in order to fly, we need to create gravitational effects. In order to move the carpet, we have to create a control system that can change this pattern in a way which responds to something else, our wish. So the carpet also functions in different way, and different parts of the design, energetic design, comes into operation depending on the function it serves. Now, so now that we can conceive of the thought of transmuting the carpet with energy, then the whole thing changes. We have our own energetic system within us, soul of man, soul of physicality, and all that we know and talk about in plasma science. Now, can we connect these two? Does it transform the whole situation? And make it a two-way system. The carpet affects the carpet, and then we can affect the carpet as well. We use the carpets in prayers, meditation, and various other things of that sort. Now we see another dimension unfolding. It's an active element which can function, not just flying. It's not just the physical flying. The rest of our energetic system, our soul of man, soul of physicality, can also connect to it and operate in a different way. A different function of the carpet comes into, you know. So as soon as we introduce these elements, the energy and magnetic fields, into a carpet, and then include the operator of the carpet in the mix of things, we have a very powerful system. Now, how do we operate this carpet? We have to know a little bit of how the design works, how the magnetic field flow works in this design. For that, we have to know the circuit of how the circuit of the patterns on the carpet function. And we also have to know how our own patterns function within our magnetic field system. So when we are sitting on the carpet, it transforms us or transmutes us. Similarly, our presence transforms the functionality of the carpet. So some of the things that are known to some of the groups of people on the planet who use the carpet, they talk about this, that the design of the carpet affects our meditation process, or the things we do using the carpet or the prayer. And focusing on certain patterns on the carpet can trigger our mind or our prayer in certain very specific ways. So we have two systems operating together here, and it's no longer isolated. So the carpet can affect one who is sitting on the carpet. We know a little bit, I just talked about that a little. Similarly, one who is operating the carpet is transmuting the carpet into something else. It's no longer just a design, but it's an active energetic system which can do many things. Yes, the humble carpet can do many things once we know how to do it. And at the same time, for the majority of the cases that I know of, we use it the other way. We use the carpet to transmute the person who is sitting on it. Prayer and meditation stuff that I talked about. So it's a tool of transmutation. We can look at the system as the system of these two elements and think of the carpet as an enhancement unit or a tool to assist us to transmute, transform, or transmute. But as a complete system, we can also use it as with many different functions. Once again, we have to know how to operate it. So this knowledge is there in plasma science. So it is a very powerful thing that we can use, just like our enhancement unit. But we have to, of course, know ourselves or talk to someone who knows. Sometimes we call them human masters or things with names like that. But the knowledge has to be transferred some way to use the carpet, much like, driving a spaceship or anything else that we can think of. But our plasma spaceship, the spaceship that we talk about, it also affects and works in the same way. As much as it is operated by us, it also affects us. It can feed us. It can take care of our health as we are in there. So does the magic carpet do more magic than just flying? Why not? So it is indeed a magic carpet, for there we learn to transmute. It's a tool to learn how to transmute. And perhaps someday we all will have our own magic carpet. With that wish, I end my today's presentation. Thank you very much. And we'll have something next time.
Your presenting your wishes, my dear Moshfik. So beautifully explained. And yes, transmutation, my dear beautiful soul. Home science. The science of home, not the home. We understand the home for all of us, all of us. The trust of the heart and soul dwells there. So here we are in this understanding the science of home, how to weave the carpet, as Moshfik said, how to weave, how to understand. So understand the science of home. Trust the love and life, my dear. Thank you. Thank you, my dear beautiful soul. Thank you. Now we can go to the next presentation.
Thank you, Mosfek. Thank you, Sweta. It's Dean here again. So we're now talking about the next transmutation test, and this is going to be for nutrition and wellness. And they're 2 to 4 hour sessions. And from the last session, I can give you a slight testimonial. So I was present in the last session that was for people that had been in a previous session, and there was a transmutation session done last Friday, and I went into this with no expectation at all, and I was very free and open, and I allowed myself to be just present and to do exactly as Mr. Keshe was advising to do with various bits of the technology that we actually had with us, i.e. a connection to a phone and some headphones and some other pieces. And some of the knowledge seekers had some other devices from the foundation that were present, and these were various different items. And I'm sure many of the knowledge seekers had different experiences. This session for me was slightly different in the fact that I had the same experience as I had before, not quite as much, as in that there was like remote viewing again. So there was many faces and many situations and many different experiences, like dreaming, but a little bit more vivid. And then it went very quiet and very still. And I came back out of this sort of sensation of being present there, and I was very much back into the physicality again, and very physical. And I was sat on a bed, and I thought, I need to go back in. So I put the headphones back on, rearranged the headphones and things, and did it in a slightly different way. There was a point where we had to use our hands on a certain device, and hold them there with the headphones on the hands. And for me, this didn't. I don't know if it did it or not. I wasn't quite sure, but I changed position, doing something slightly different. And I had some many ganses and other things all around me that I was present with. And then in one moment, totally unexpected, as I was starting to go into this not meditative, but back into a sort of soul connection state, that it was very much like turning a light on. But when you look at the sun and you look at it in the distance on the horizon, the sun's over there, and you view this celestial body, you view this plasma from a distance, and you look at it and you look at the sun. When the light came on, it was like I was in the sun. I was part of it. It was part of me. And this was like turning a light on, and then it went off very quickly. So it was on, illumination, off. But in that brief moment, I didn't feel anything. It was just bright golden light. I sensed this, I felt this, but it wasn't like seeing it with my eyes. I was part of it. And as I said, this was for a brief period of time. But I suddenly sensed a feeling, not a feeling. It was illuminating in all the ways that we've just been speaking about with transmutation and this sort of the magic carpet and things of the soul. It was for me, it was a moment, a very brief moment of connection, real connection to whatever point it was. For me, there wasn't a destination. There wasn't a position that I went to that was a specific planet or a specific location or even situation. It's suddenly just the light that just all of a sudden this experience was of being part of something, and it was the totality of me. And as I said, it was for a very brief moment, and then it went straight back off again. And then I remember coming round, and I thought, "Oh, what was this?" It was I was straight back into physicality again. But in that precise second, that moment that it happened, it was it's something I've never experienced before quite like that. It was a transmutation to where I'm not quite sure, but it was certainly interesting. A certain moment that I felt that was building up to, and I'm sure many knowledge seekers may have experienced this before, and have been present with it, and then they start to use it to experience other dimensions and go into other places. For me, as I said, this was a switch that came on and off. And whether this will continue, whether it's a one-off or whether it will start to grow and you stay in this present moment, in that moment more and more, I don't know. That's to come. That's something that once I connect and once I understand it, and maybe once Mr. Keshe explains more what he was how he was interacting in the background with the tools and and the interactions of the soul that Mr. Keshe only knows about, that maybe this will come forward. So for me, this nutrition and wellness transmutation test, when I was in that precise moment, when that golden feeling of I can't say enlightenment because I don't know what it was, but it felt like this. I was in that precise moment. There was all the sensations of being anything to do with being unwell or being well or being in a position of needing food or not. It was a very brief period of time, but remember, time does not exist only on this planet, and only because we believe it to be time. So when you go to this position and transmutation takes place, you're in a space that could could last for a very long time or could be instant. And in that moment, I didn't feel the need that I felt totally fulfilled in, and joy and happiness and physical fulfillment, even though the physical body wasn't there. It was, other than what I've described, it's a very difficult thing to describe, but it was very much an experience that was very profound and and very quick. And as I just said, that may have been for an eternity, or it may have been for a brief second, depending on your viewpoint, time, place, and position, and connection to wherever that place was, whether it was the middle of a sun, the middle of creation, the middle of an interaction in the physical form on planet Earth. You are the captain of your ship. And I think that each and every one of us will experience different things. And maybe at some point within the transmutation tests, you may experience, and I'm sure other knowledge seekers have experienced this, that light coming on, that experience of being within it, not looking outside of it. So, and that was a very big experience. So, thank you, Rick, for putting that on the screen. So the next wellness and nutrition testimonial, wellness sessions will be €600. One thing I would like to say is, funny enough, this last session was a gift by Mr. Keshe. So there was no charge. And that was the time, that was the moment when there was no money involved. And it was like, if you were part of this other session, it was to try again, to give again. And in that moment, for me, something profound happened. And it had nothing to do with money. And everything that's been spoken about earlier on to do with the transmutations and the carpet and everything else, and the illumination of the lamp and the person sat there, you suddenly, in that brief second, I realized, I've always realized it, but I realized for sure, there is no need to be fighting for any survival thing that we think we need, because once that light from within shines and you sense it, you're part of it, really part of it, there is no need for anything else. It is a all fulfilling experience. However, to get to that step, we have these Keshe Foundation store products, and we have these wonderful interactions through Mr. Keshe and the other knowledge seekers and the Universal Council, bringing us, all of us who are willing to accept, to experience, want to go to that position of knowing, to be able to travel as we wish. And funny enough, I've spoken about this before. This was the one moment where I felt the furthest away from this. And we know with plasma, it flows both ways. And so the moment that you feel that it's not possible, it's suddenly just like it just happened for a very brief period of time. And maybe it'll be like that for you guys, or maybe it'll be something totally different. Maybe you'll step into this position and it'll last for much longer, and you will be able to experience it and choose your time, place, and position, and come back where you wish. For me, it was just a brief moment of just showing me what the soul and the possibilities of what we really are. So it was a wonderful experience, and tantalizing, and it's many things I've experienced through my whole life that suddenly led to a time, place, and position of this particular moment. And then in that particular moment, everything else disappeared, vanished. There was no There was no thoughts of hunger, no thoughts of sadness, no thoughts of joy, no thoughts of. It was just, I was joy. I was fulfilled and experienced the beauty. But it was so quick that it took me by surprise. And I suppose that is the beauty of the soul. So, 2024 Nutrition and Wellness Transmutation Test. Please be present if you can. It's a very small amount of money for those that can afford it. And if you can't afford it, if you do have some money, then please donate some of your wealth for others to experience it, because you will gain back much from being able to give to another. So hopefully you will all enjoy the beauty of nutrition and wellness, and maybe it'll take you to this position of whatever it is that I may have experienced. I'm not claiming anything. I don't know what it was, but it felt like a very beautiful place to spend some time. Thank you, Rick. Thank you all. I think we can move on unless somebody else would like to make another comment. Thank you.
I was just going to say thank you, Dean. Thank you, everyone. This is Rick. Are there any flying carpet offers on the website of the Keshe Foundation? Probably not, but what the transmutation sessions are doing is basically providing you, in a way, a roadmap of how to use your own flying carpet or travel on the creator's carpet across the universe and so on. But the main point of all this is to keep the Keshe Foundation free for humanity. And as Mr. Keshe indicated, he doesn't want his hands tied by going to multinationals and going to other people to look for money, which again would slow down and probably divert the research. So all of these products, and there's been a number of products added, is all part of keeping the Keshe Foundation free for humanity. We talk about the Twinity GANs. We see there's one for menopause. There's one for men for what they call flagpole. We have the snooze Twinity GANs, which basically does what it says. Another one is called the top at ease, which is, I believe, in the migraine headache department. There's a detachment Twinity GANs for addiction and so on and so forth. There's a stamina GANs. There's a sight GANs. There's a cycle GANs for the menstrual cycle to make that much easier for many women who struggle to go through that time. And again, these are all part of keeping the Keshe Foundation free for humanity. So you can make a direct donation. You can buy the products. Look at the cosmic ray material, the cosmic ray bundles. These, again, are new materials that have come into the creation on this planet through the Keshe Foundation. Probably have never existed in the quantities and capacities that's available to people now. And of course, we have to be taught about these things more and more. But there's new soaps that are being offered for pain, for lumps, perhaps even feeding yourself, I think was mentioned as well. So all of these, and by you participating and testing and offering your feedback back to the Keshe Foundation, is all part of keeping the Keshe Foundation free for humanity. So we encourage you all. And I'll just say, on the last transmutation test, I was holding the, when we started, I was holding the earbuds. Well, they're wires connected, but I had the one with the microphone in my left hand, the one without the microphone in my right hand. Again, we don't know exactly the different tests. And as Dean said, everyone experiences different things or notices different things. But almost immediately, my right hand started tingling. And I mean tingling to the point where if you cross your legs, sometimes you feel your foot go to sleep. But I said, how could my hand go to sleep? I just put this headphone within my hand. So there was a definite tingling, much less in the left hand, the one with the microphone. But there was a tingling going on, and I don't know exactly what that meant. But perhaps I was something was being taken from me, or something was being given to me, or something was creating some sort of balance. But that was another interesting experience in that session. Just thought I'd share that. So there's no flying carpet offers, but there are transmutation tests and many, many other products. And more to come. I think in the last workshop, he mentioned an infection pain pen, which we know about the standard pain pen, but now there's going to be one for infections. We were talking about that yesterday in the testimonials meeting, and there's probably a lot of infections that this, apparently the results are quite good. Otherwise, Mr. Keshe wouldn't put it into the market. But almost thinking he got it off of the Star Trek, where we used to see the people go into the sick bay, they used to call it, and the doctor would wave a wand or a pen over the body, and the person would get up within less than a minute and say, "Doc, I feel so much better." I think these sort of things are what's going to be coming into the public marketplace. And again, this is beyond our imagination, that simple fields being applied at the right strength in the right way can achieve some, what we would call miraculous results, without even going within the body or taking any sort of tablets that's usually recommended by professionals and others to balance out your condition. So there's many ways to support the Keshe Foundation within this KF store, from the transmutation to the new soaps to the cosmic ray bundles. I mean, it's just an immense amount. And again, it's all for you to find out more about yourself and your capabilities. These are all supporting products or systems in a way. And I continue to believe it'll continue to grow at this point. So thank you all, and thank you for keeping the Keshe Foundation free for humanity.
Thank you, my dear Mark. So much beauty you presented. Thank you, Dean, my dear. Thank you so, so much. Now we can go to the next presentation, my dear Rick. Needs and wishes, my dear beautiful souls. So we, the UC, gives freely from our souls to elevate the soul to all beings who lost their physicality in any disaster situation. We are present. Now, welcome, my dear beautiful souls. Welcome, welcome. So, Swagatam, if you have anything to share, any beautiful souls, anything to share, and anything to, well, we are all learning together, ask, or any, I will say, share, you can share love and peace, always. Thank you. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you, Sweta. So it's Dean here again. I usually say something here. So if we can, that moment I was just been speaking to, that being part of the light, being part of the middle of a transmutation, being part of the creation point. I was looking at a galaxy formation and a universal formation, an image, being a photographer, an ex-photographer, and looking at these this image, and in the middle where there was all this surrounding gases and conditions, and in the middle there's a very bright light of a creation point. So if we can take our thought and intention into that creation point, we can make the needs and the wish for this beautiful wish to elevate the soul to all being who have lost their physicality. So they may have lost their physicality, but they've gained the beauty of that position that I've just been speaking about. And so that particular soul has taken another position. And so even though we may experience it, and as we are still in the physicality with great sadness and loss of being in a disaster situation, the soul is experiencing it in a totally different way. And when I was in that situation for that very brief second, there was no death. It was a totally different experience to this. So depending upon your need and wish and who you would like to elevate, who you'd like to give to, who needs this energy from that soul, from your soul, because you all have this within you. So when you use that part of you to give to another soul, to give what you have a surplus of, when you have a beauty within you, an energy, very much like if you have a father or son or a mother or a daughter, that sort of situation where you give unconditionally. And if we realize that in the micro and the macro that son or daughter is humanity, all of us, and it doesn't matter what nationality, what creed or color, that has no relevance. When you go to that position, none of that, absolutely none of that comes forward. It doesn't matter whatsoever. It's just a totally different experience of the beauty of us, of the structure within inside yourself. So when you go to that moment and you create the wish formulated around the intention and let that forth, let that go out as a field strength, then not only do you suddenly become enlightened and you give forward the beauty, but the others around you receive that energy, that wonderful condition of receiving unconditionally from your soul. And it's the most powerful, most incredible sense of being. And all the other things that we fight for disappear. They're gone. They don't exist. They do not exist. So the needs and the wishes, we, the UC, give freely from our souls to elevate the soul to all being who lost their physicality. In any disaster situation, we give unconditionally from our soul for you to receive in this moment. And we thank you for being present. Thank you, Sweta. Thank you.
Thank you. I need the next little words. Thank you. Only not only elevate that souls, but need elevate the souls, the family, all and the all beings around the that's disaster situation, because when you elevate, you change your behavior. And do you change the behavior? Of course, we change the behavior. The impact directly to the environment. So most important, and remember again, the attitude the creator can speak, doing anything good, because change the environment, of course, elevate all souls. Thank you, thank you. We are the soul of the place. Remember it.
Yes. Thank you, my dear Elizabeth. We are soul of peace and we are one. And thank you, my dear Dean. Thank you so much. Rick, anybody has to say anything?
The only thing of note is from Mahmood in YouTube, who says, "Hello from Austin, Texas." And that's about it on that front. So,
hello, Mahmood. Salam.
Hello,
Namaste,
Austin.
Oh, yes. Thank you, my dear beautiful souls. Now we can go to the next presentation. Here we are, here to serve, not to be served, my dear beautiful souls. Welcome, 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 welcome. Swagatam to the beautiful energy of Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute Organization. Welcome, welcome to the beauty and totality of Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institution Organization. Welcome to the beautiful energy of all souls, that is universal. All the love always, my dear beautiful soul. And join, follow, jump in, and love Keshe Foundation as we all love. Thank you. Thank you so much. Salam, namaste, salute, the Universal Council. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, thank you, Sweta. Thank you to all the members of our Universal Council and support members for presenting today's show, which has been the 352nd One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace here on Tuesday, November 12th, 2024. And thank you all for attending today's program. I hope you enjoyed it. And we thank everyone in the background who is giving from their soul for peace on the planet and to connect with the universal community. All right, well, our next public teaching workshop is the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group, which will start on Wednesday, November 13th at 7 a.m. Central European Time. And we go for several hours of discussion and presentation of people's experiments and ideas. And that's for young and old, newcomers and old timers to the plasma technology are invited. And yeah, that's available at the same Zoom ID. Okay, I think that's it for announcements. And of course,
And how about some dancing on the carpet?
it's
Clap,
time
clap, and dance.
to roll
Thank
out
you.
the dancing carpet here. Yes, indeed.
All the
Thank you,
love, always
Shweta.
beautiful soul. Thank you.
We'll go with our Universal Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit music version as per usual. And I hope you clap and dance your way through your day. Thank you, everyone. And bye for now. Well, my video is not playing right now, so I need to go to a backup one. Bear with me a minute here while I see if I can come up with a video that plays.